You're a sucker. The reason I don't do cocaine, Big Tigger, I get my blood tested every 3 months for the last 15 years. All narcotic tests have come up 0.00%.
Eddie Murphy just broke the internet after going off on Katt Williams for being jealous of Kevin Hart. And people are not letting that slide. The backlash came fast, with fans accusing Eddie of siding with Kevin only because he's scared to get on his bad side. Let's not forget, Eddie already dragged Kevin in the past after Kevin went around bragging that he broke all of Eddie's box office records. So now everyone's confused. How is Katt jealous for calling Kevin an industry plant? But Kevin wasn't jealous when he disrespected Eddie. It's wild. Eddie should have just stayed quiet because now he's getting roasted from every direction. And honestly, he did this to himself. This whole drama didn't start yesterday either. Katt Williams and Kevin Hart have been beefing for years. It all traces back to when there was this crazy trend of black actors wearing dresses just to make it big in Hollywood. We're talking Eddie Murphy, Tyler Perry, Jamie Foxx, Marlon Wayans, Martin Lawrence, all of them. But things really started heating up after Dave Chappelle's 2006 interview with Oprah, where he exposed how Hollywood was trying to humiliate black men for laughs. Dave's honesty got everyone buzzing. Even Kevin Hart jumped into the convo, claiming he'd never wear a dress no matter how much money he was offered. But then, just a few months later, boom, he's on SNL wearing a dress, rocking a wig, and acting like a woman. The internet went wild calling him out, and Kevin tried to defend himself in a Twitter meltdown saying, "I wore a dress on SNL because I thought it was funny. I made that decision. Nobody made it for me. I am my own boss." But when Katt got asked about Kevin's little dress moment, he didn't hold back. He called him out, plain and simple. And what's funny is, Katt didn't even say anything disrespectful. Still, Kevin took it personal and fired back hard. When he and Tiffany Haddish appeared on The Breakfast Club, Kevin called Katt a failure, saying, "The reason why Katt isn't where he thinks he should be is that he chose to be a crackhead instead of focusing on his career." That hit deep. After that messy exchange, Katt disappeared from social media for a while, until 2024, when he came back swinging during his interview on Club Shay Shay. He exposed Kevin big time, accusing him of selling his soul for fame and power. According to Katt, Kevin allegedly made deals with powerful industry elites to boost his Hollywood career. Katt also opened up about getting blackballed after refusing to do a disturbing scene in Friday After Next, where his character was supposed to get violated. He said the producers thought it would be hilarious, but he didn't find that funny at all. After he refused, every role he had lined up was suddenly given to Kevin, who, according to Katt, would do whatever the producers wanted without question. That's when things really started to look shady. And just when Kevin thought the storm had passed, Katt's interview made everyone start digging into his past. And what they found had people shook. Rumors started flying that Kevin wasn't just chasing fame. He was allegedly tied to the freaky stuff going on in the industry, including those infamous freak-off parties linked to Diddy. Word on the street is that back in 2010, Kevin was invited by Diddy to a private party at a New York hotel. And considering Cassie later confirmed in court that most of Diddy's freak-offs went down in NYC hotels, people started putting two and two together. The timing, the location, it all looked suspicious. Then things got even weirder when a video from that same party resurfaced online, showing Diddy making a strange comment about sharing a bed with Usher when Usher was only 14. That clip had fans looking at him sideways, wondering what really went down at those so-called parties. This whole situation is turning Hollywood upside down. And Eddie Murphy just stepped into the fire without realizing how hot it already was. At one point, Diddy tried to catch himself and walk back what he said, but it was too late. People were already connecting the dots, and things started getting real suspicious. The reason everyone felt so uneasy is because rumors about Diddy doing shady stuff had already been floating around for years. And it wasn't just gossip. Usher himself once admitted that Diddy used to do some freaky things when he lived at his house. Usher even said that if his own kids were ever supposed to stay over at Diddy's place, that would be a hell no. That statement alone had people raising eyebrows big time. Now, let's circle back to that infamous Diddy party Kevin was happily hosting. There's another wild clip from that same night that went viral. It showed one of the dancers catching on fire during a performance. Instead of anyone jumping in to help or grabbing water, they all just stood there watching while the cameras kept rolling like it was part of the show. And here's the messed up part. Kevin was sitting right next to her when it happened, and he didn't move an inch. This poor girl was literally screaming for her life while everyone just stared in shock. People couldn't believe how cold that moment looked on camera. Fast forward to recently, the paparazzi decided to stir the pot and asked Kevin if he saw any baby oil at that wild 2010 party. Instead of saying yes or no, he hit them with, "You're asking the wrong questions." What? Fans instantly caught that and said, if nothing happened, he could have just denied it. Simple as that. His dodging made it look even sketchier. And that wasn't the first time Kevin got weird when Diddy's name came up. Every single time someone mentions Diddy around him, Kevin either looks mad, nervous, or tries to act like he doesn't know what's going on. It's so obvious something's off. For instance, a while back, Kevin randomly shut down all his vegan restaurants across the country. When the paparazzi caught up with him to ask why, he was totally cool explaining everything, laughing, talking, no problem. But the second they mentioned Diddy, his whole vibe switched instantly. He stopped talking, jumped in his car, and sped off like he was running from something. Fans noticed his whole face went from chill and smiling to tight and irritated the second Diddy's name dropped. Then there's that viral clip from his interview with Mark Wahlberg. Mark casually brought up Diddy, but the tension in the room got thick real fast. You could tell Mark knew something, and Kevin clearly didn't want him saying it out loud. The look on Kevin's face said it all. He wanted that topic shut down immediately. Meanwhile, while all this chaos was exploding online, Eddie Murphy stayed low-key and tried not to pick a side. He's been cool with both Kevin and Katt for years. Katt once praised Eddie for his legendary performance in Raw, and Kevin even invited Eddie onto his podcast. But things got a little spicy between those two not long ago. Kevin started doing what he always does, bragging. He went around saying he broke Eddie Murphy's box office record, just like he once did with Katt. It was another moment of disrespect, trying to erase Eddie's legacy so he could be seen as the top black comedian. But Eddie didn't let that fly. He clapped back calmly but firmly, saying his record has been untouched for 27 years, and Kevin isn't even close to breaking it. You could feel the sting in that response. Word on the street says Eddie and Katt have actually been keeping in touch lately, and Eddie supposedly told Katt to chill on going back and forth with Kevin. He warned him it's not worth it because Kevin is protected by powerful people in the industry. Eddie basically told him, this is one fight you can't win. And honestly, if these rumors are true, Katt might want to listen. The industry already buried Eddie once back in the day just to push Kevin into the spotlight. And if Katt keeps exposing secrets, they might come for him next. This game is dangerous, and not everyone survives it twice. Now here's where things get even messier. Because after Katt's explosive interview started trending, Hollywood insiders began whispering that some major players were panicking. Apparently, certain names were getting mentioned behind closed doors, and people were scared Katt might start dropping receipts next. Suddenly, stories started surfacing that made folks question who's really protecting who. Kevin kept popping up at elite Hollywood events with big-time producers, the same ones Katt claimed were pulling strings behind the scenes. And get this, every time Katt's name came up, Kevin would laugh it off like it was nothing, but his eyes told a whole different story. It was that nervous kind of laugh that screams, "Don't ask me about that." Meanwhile, Katt wasn't backing down either. He went live again and said, "I ain't scared of no Hollywood elites." Fans went crazy over that clip. He doubled down, saying people needed to wake up and stop believing the fake image the industry pushes. He didn't say any names that time, but everyone knew who he was talking about. And as if the drama couldn't get any hotter, another old video popped up of Kevin at a private after-party surrounded by a bunch of A-listers, Diddy included. The crowd online immediately started dissecting every second of that footage, claiming Kevin looked way too uncomfortable whenever Diddy got close. Some even pointed out how Kevin tried to switch the subject every time someone mentioned the 2010 party. People weren't letting that slide. Then out of nowhere, Eddie Murphy decided to step back into the spotlight again, this time trying to defend Kevin during an interview. He said Katt's comments were jealous energy and that Kevin deserved his success. But that comment backfired instantly. Social media dragged Eddie all over again, saying he was defending the wrong person. Fans started calling him a Hollywood gatekeeper and saying he lost touch with reality. And to make things worse, people started digging into Eddie's old interviews. pulling up clips of him talking about how the industry tests you before letting you rise. That statement aged terribly after he sided with Kevin. Folks online began asking if Eddie went through those same tests he once warned others about. The hypocrisy was loud. Katt, of course, didn't stay quiet for long. He threw subtle shade during a comedy set, saying, "Some people sell their soul and call it networking." The audience lost it. Everyone knew that was aimed straight at Kevin and maybe even Eddie too. Clips from that night went viral within hours, and suddenly Eddie's team started doing damage control, trying to clean up his image before things got worse. Meanwhile, Kevin tried to play it cool by posting motivational quotes online. You know, the usual "don't feed negativity" type of stuff. But people weren't buying it. The comment section was flooded with fans asking, "Where's Diddy?" and "You still dodging questions?" It was chaos. To add fuel to the fire, one of Diddy's former assistants came forward with shocking claims about what went on during those hotel parties back in the day. The assistant didn't drop any specific names, but they said one of the biggest comedians in the world was always there acting like everything was normal while things got out of hand. Everyone immediately assumed they meant Kevin. From that point on, Kevin went completely quiet. No interviews, no podcast appearances, no comedy posts, nothing. That silence had fans thinking maybe Katt was right all along. And now here's the twist. Eddie reportedly told a close friend that he regrets even mentioning Katt in the first place. He supposedly didn't expect people to turn on him that fast, especially since he was just trying to calm things down. But by stepping into the middle of that chaos, he ended up getting dragged into something way darker than he realized. People online are saying this whole situation just proves that Hollywood isn't as glamorous as it looks. It's a power game. Everyone's trying to protect their image while covering up who's really pulling the strings. Katt might be rough around the edges, but one thing about him, he doesn't back down from the truth. And now that he's speaking again, everyone's watching to see who he's going to expose next. The energy online is wild, and one thing's for sure, this Hollywood storm is far from over. Not even a week after all that went down, things took another wild turn. Out of nowhere, a mysterious post started circulating online claiming that Katt Williams had more tapes, supposedly proof that could expose what really goes down behind Hollywood's closed doors. Nobody knew if it was real or not, but just the idea of it had everyone on edge. Fans were tagging Kevin, Eddie, and even Diddy all over social media asking if they were nervous, but instead of clearing the air, all three of them went completely silent. No interviews, no live videos, not even a tweet. That silence said more than words ever could. People started saying if it was a lie, they would have denied it already. Then, a popular entertainment blogger claimed they'd seen some of the so-called evidence Katt had, and they said it was career-ending. The blogger didn't give specifics, but dropped a huge hint saying, "Let's just say one of your favorite comedians wasn't always laughing when those cameras turned off." The internet lost its mind. Everyone was speculating, piecing clues together like detectives. Meanwhile, Katt was moving like he knew something big was coming. He stopped performing for a few weeks and started popping up in random cities, Atlanta, Miami, and Vegas, but not for comedy shows. Some folks swore he was meeting with people connected to media networks, trying to make sure the truth got out safely. Others said he was laying low because the industry was watching him closely. Either way, he wasn't backing down. Eddie Murphy, on the other hand, tried to get ahead of the narrative. He did a quick press run, acting like he wasn't bothered by the drama. He laughed it off, saying, "People always want to start something that ain't there." But fans weren't convinced. One person commented, "Eddie's laughing a little too hard for someone who's not guilty." That clip alone got millions of views overnight. Kevin Hart stayed unusually quiet. No jokes, no posts, nothing. And that's when folks noticed something strange. His team started scrubbing old videos from YouTube, especially the ones showing him hanging out with Diddy. That move looked super suspicious. It only made people dig deeper. Then came another shocker. Someone leaked a screenshot of an old group chat allegedly between a few big comedians, where one of them wrote, "We gotta get Katt to chill before he ruins everything." The messages couldn't be confirmed, but the names lined up too perfectly for it to be random. The streets were buzzing. If that chat was real, it meant these stars were working together to keep Katt quiet. And get this, during a podcast, a comedian who used to be close to Kevin accidentally slipped up. When asked about Katt, He laughed nervously and said, "Man, Katt's still talking about those parties?" The host froze, and you could see the regret on his face right after. That clip went viral instantly, with people replaying it frame by frame like it was a crime scene video. Now fans were more convinced than ever that Katt wasn't lying. He'd been blackballed before, but this time, he had the public on his side. People started reposting his old interviews where he warned about Hollywood secrets and said he wasn't afraid to go down telling the truth. It was like everyone finally started listening. Meanwhile, whispers started spreading that a certain documentary company had reached out to Katt about turning his story into a docuseries. If that's true, this could blow everything wide open, because once those cameras start rolling and the right people start talking, no one's reputation is safe. Even Eddie's camp reportedly started stressing out, afraid that some of the old Hollywood stories about him might resurface. One insider said Eddie told his team to tighten up the ship because he didn't want any skeletons crawling out now. The tension in Hollywood was crazy. Everyone was pretending to be calm in public, but behind the scenes, it was full panic mode. Industry folks were calling in favors, deleting posts, and canceling events, all trying to avoid being dragged into the chaos Katt had unleashed. And the wildest part? Katt still hadn't dropped a single piece of proof. Just his words alone were shaking the industry to its core. Fans are now waiting, popcorn ready, wondering if he's about to reveal something that could change everything. Because if even half of what's being whispered turns out true, this could be the biggest Hollywood scandal in years. A few days later, everything exploded again when Katt Williams finally broke his silence online. And this time, he came swinging harder than ever. He posted a cryptic message that said, "They tried to silence me, but you can't mute the truth forever." Fans went absolutely wild. Everyone knew something was coming, and the internet was buzzing non-stop. Just hours after that post, Katt went live, and over 500,000 people tuned in within minutes. He didn't waste any time either. He started off by saying that he'd been blacklisted again, but this time he had receipts. He said, "They can try to shut me out, but I got proof they can't delete." That line alone had people screaming in the comments. Katt didn't drop any names directly, but he started talking about how some comedians pretend to be self-made, when in reality, they're industry-built and spiritually broken. Everyone knew exactly who he meant: Kevin Hart. Katt even hinted that one of his former friends traded loyalty for luxury, saying, "They give you fame, but they take your freedom." That hit deep. And just when fans thought he was done, Katt dropped another bomb. He said that during his time in Hollywood, he witnessed people being forced into humiliating situations to keep their careers. He said it so calmly, like a man who'd seen too much to care anymore. The live chat went crazy, thousands of comments pouring in, people demanding names, and others begging him to stay safe. Right after that live, every major gossip outlet picked up the story, and within hours, it was trending worldwide. Hashtags like #ProtectKattWilliams and #HollywoodExposed were everywhere. People started connecting dots from old interviews, strange photos, and even deleted tweets from some of the biggest names in comedy. It was like a digital investigation happening in real time. Meanwhile, Kevin Hart's team was scrambling. They released a quick statement saying, "Mr. Hart is focused on his work and refuses to engage in false narratives." But that didn't help. It actually made things worse. Fans said it sounded like a PR copy-paste and not a real response. Some even pointed out that Kevin's social media pages suddenly went quiet, almost like he'd been told to stay off the internet until things blew over. Then Eddie Murphy's name got dragged back into it again. Old clips resurfaced from his past interviews where he hinted that success in Hollywood comes with certain sacrifices. People started splicing those clips next to Katt's new comments saying, "He told us years ago." Suddenly, Eddie was trending too, and not in a good way. To make it worse, a so-called insider came forward claiming Eddie had actually called Katt privately after that live, telling him to be careful because they don't play fair when you hit too close to the truth. Whether that conversation really happened or not, fans believed it instantly. It just added more fuel to the fire. Then, things took a shocking twist. A leaked email supposedly from a top streaming network hit the internet. It mentioned a high-risk celebrity expose that had been put on hold due to legal threats from talent representatives. People immediately assumed it was Katt's upcoming docuseries. The theory spread like wildfire, and suddenly, everyone wanted to know what Hollywood was trying to hide. Katt didn't confirm or deny the leak, but he posted another mysterious message the next morning saying, "You can stop the show, but you can't stop the truth." That one sentence had the internet in chaos again. Meanwhile, Kevin tried to make a quiet public appearance at a charity event, but reporters ambushed him with questions about Katt, Eddie, and Diddy. He smiled awkwardly, waved, and said, "I'm just here for good vibes," before rushing into his car. People online said he looked shook. The comments were ruthless. Folks saying, "That's not good vibes. That's guilty energy." By the end of the week, you couldn't scroll anywhere without seeing Katt Williams' name. He went from being blackballed to being the most talked about man in Hollywood overnight. Fans were calling him a legend for standing up to the system, while others worried he was putting himself in danger again. Now everyone's waiting to see what happens next. Will Katt finally drop those so-called tapes, or will Hollywood pull every trick in the book to keep the truth buried? Because one thing's clear, he's not scared and he's not stopping. Whatever he's holding on to must be big, and if he actually releases it, the entire industry might never be the same again. And that right there, y'all, is where things stand. Total chaos in Hollywood. Katt Williams has the whole industry shaking. Kevin Hart's gone quiet, and Eddie Murphy's trying to play both sides while pretending nothing's wrong. It's like everyone's holding their breath, waiting for the next bomb to drop. If Katt really drops those tapes he keeps hinting about, it's over for a lot of people. The energy online is crazy. Fans are saying this could be the moment that exposes everything we've been suspecting for years. Some folks are cheering him on like he's a hero, while others are praying he stays safe because it's clear he's messing with some powerful people. And let's be real, this story's getting darker by the day. Every time we think it can't get any messier, somebody new gets pulled into the drama. One thing's for sure, Hollywood has never looked this shady before, and it's starting to feel like the truth is finally catching up to everyone who thought they could hide forever. So what do you think? Is Katt Williams just stirring the pot for attention, or is he really about to expose the biggest Hollywood secret ever? Because if he's telling the truth, things are about to get real ugly out there. Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to know what side you're on. Team Katt, Team Kevin, or Team Everybody's hiding something. This story is far from over, and we'll be right here breaking it down piece by piece as it unfolds. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next update. Because trust me, the next chapter in this Hollywood saga is going to be even wilder than this one. Stay tuned because the truth is just getting started.